All right, let's go out to Brandon in Meridian. Brandon, what's up, my man?
Hi, Dr. John. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, brother. How can I help?
Well, I've got 3 major stressors going on in my life right now, and they're all kind of intertwined, and they're so jumbled up that I get myself wrapped around in circles, and I can't. I just shut down, and I can't figure out a way to start attacking these.
Well, thanks for calling, man. Let's untangle them. What you got?
Okay. I've got, the first, probably most major there is my wife and I have been trying to have a baby for 3.5 years now, and so far unable to get pregnant. I've got, we're saving to buy a house in this place that we love, and the goal line keeps moving, and it feels like we're never going to get to the point where we're going to be able to buy a house here. I've got a job working for my dad, and he's getting ready to, he wants to exit the business and turn it over to me, and I'm not sure I want to do that. And then also, even if I don't do that, where do I go from here? So it's a lot right now, and it's all pretty heavy, and I'm stuck.
Well, man, I appreciate your trust and giving me a call, dude. That means a lot.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So here's just a simple guidelines when I'm in a situation like you're in, which is both existential and practical, right? Existential being, who am I going to be? Am I going to be a dad? Am I going to, and I've been in that same seat, man. And then you start having conversations about adoption and what does that look like? And then you or your wife feel guilty, and that leads to this whole weird dance. It's just a mess, right? So you've got that, number one. And that leads to, I had a picture of what my life was going to be, which is I'm going to take over Dad's business in this little community that we like. We're going to have 18 little kids running around. And then suddenly that picture gets untethered, right? It just, the string pulls and it starts to come apart. And then you want to buy a house? Yeah, and you're right, man. We looked for 9 months, and we still bought a kind of a hidden in the woods fixer-upper-ish kind of, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, because the housing market's bananas. And so now, am I going to be a dad? Am I going to be a homeowner? And then tell me about your dad's business. What's the business?
It's a construction business, just a small company, and kind of a niche market, but we're doing really well.
So do you want out?
I don't know.
No, you do.
Well, I mean, in my heart, I do, but
what do you want to do?
That's fear-based, or
what do you want to do? If your dad said, "Hey, I just sold the business to my neighbor for $1 million. Here's half of it. Go do what you want." He gave you $500,000 and said, "Go get them." What would you go do? Dude, you work construction. You've been daydreaming about this for months, if not years. What would you go do?
Oh, man, I don't know. Something outdoors, I guess. Something, I don't know. What I feel like I need is something that has a little bit more meaning, something that I feel like I'm really making an effect on people. Okay. That's positive, and
so meaning is going to be something you create. It's not going to be an external source. I know guys that have a porta potty company that have great meaning, like they find value in what they do. I know guys who pour concrete that find it, like they understand that without them, people don't get from point A to point B. And some, dude, they just cash in. And I know other folks, who are public speakers, right? They are authors, and they're just clocking in and out. They don't find meaning in that. Therapists who don't find meaning in that, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you've got to write down these things on a piece of paper and get them out of your head because it feels overwhelming. Have you done that?
I've started, but I haven't really delved into it, no.
So here's where this becomes an adventure. Because I just wrote down unable to get pregnant, struggling to buy a house, family business. Underneath each one of those becomes a spider web. which is, why did I marry her? Should I stay married to her if we can't have kids? Is it my fault? Should I let her go so she can go to somebody else who has kids? Should we adopt? Like, so now all this looks, should I adopt domestically or locally? Or it's $45,000 to adopt a kid in my neighborhood, right? If I go private and if I go, right? So you start having those things and write them down. And then it gets into the family business. I never even wanted to do this. So my dad was this and I'm living his dream. And that's when these things get hard, right? My dad didn't care about me, and you go down these rabbit holes, and that's where you have to write it all down, all of it, all of the spider webs and tangled mess, and then you got to go through those things and demand evidence from them, almost in a, you got to back out of it and say, does my dad love me? Yes. Is my dad really passionate about this business? Yes. Does my dad really want me to have it? Because he's built this thing and he wants to pass it off to his son? Yes. Do I have to take it? Nope.
Yeah.
And that's scary because now it's like, well, then go do whatever you want to. And that's terrifying, right?
Yeah.
So there is this weird moment where I think it was 4 years for me and my wife, maybe 3.5, that I got a job offer in Malibu. And we looked at each other and said, man, we had this picture of living in Texas and having kids and living this life. Let's just go move to Malibu. The job came with housing. Let's just get out of here and do something totally off, like total left turn. Right? And so at some point, you and your wife need to sit down and have that conversation. If not this, we get to paint a whole new picture. And it's going to look different. You got to grieve the one that's not. But man, there's a lot of really awesome neighborhoods in the world. Now Meridian's pretty awesome. Let's be real. It's beautiful. But there's a lot of cool places y'all can go. You can go someplace. You can move to Nashville for 2 years and just try something and then go back. Right? You can do whatever you want, but you got to go through the part of untangling that mess in your heart and head. My gut tells me, you don't want to say it out loud, and that's fine. I'm not going to keep pressing on you. But my gut tells me is you have a picture. You've been thinking about something. A job you're interested in exploring in a place that's not where you thought, and either with adopted kids or not adopted kids, just you and your wife hitting the road in a camper, whatever the thing is, something tells me you've been down that road. And my challenge to you is to step back and have that conversation with your wife if you haven't already. And then, man, there's not a lot holding you back. How old are you?
43.
43?
Yeah.
That feels like you're 100 years old, but you're not.
Well, when it comes to kids, it feels like that for sure.
I know. You're probably not even halfway there.
Yeah.
Probably not even halfway there. Have you sat down and told your dad that you're thinking about not taking the business?
No, we got a meeting set up in the coming weeks to discuss what that all looks like.
Do you actually want it? You're just scared of being a business owner?
Well, that's the thing. I'm trying to figure out, is it just my fear of doing this on my own, or is it just something that I don't want to do?
Mm. What do you think? I'm not letting you off the hook that easy. You can hang up on me, but I know that you know. That's the thing, man. Why won't you say it? Do it.
I mean,
say it. Say it.
I've been fearful. I mean, I've always lacked confidence, so that's always been in my mind about this. Is it just because I'm scared?
Mm.
But at the same time, I go to work every day, and I'm not happy. I know my guys feel that I'm not happy. I'm creating an environment that is not a great place to work just because of me not being happy with where I'm at. And it's not right, you know.
How much of that is resting on the heartache of not being able to grow your family?
Probably a lot.
Yeah. How's your marriage?
we're good. We're together in this, you know.
Mm-hmm. You can be together in something, but you can be 2 inches apart on a couch, but 1,000 miles away from each other, man. Here's what you sound like. Here's what you sound like, Brandon. You sound like a guy who's totally and completely alone, and who's 43 and is waking up and going, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Suddenly, I found myself on an island. I could be way wrong in that.
I don't feel like I'm alone. I know she's there for me, and she's on this journey with me. So
good.
But maybe I feel like we're alone.
There you go. Okay, excellent. So here's the plan, dude. Taking over a business, yeah, you should be scared, man. That's scary. Not being able to have this picture of his family that you had, yeah, that's terrifying. It's heartbreaking. Having to sit down and have a hard conversation with your dad and saying, hey, your life's work is something I'm not interested in. I can't even wrap my head around that conversation, right? I'm 40 years old. I just want to get my wife a home. And we can't afford it. Yeah, dude, that's a beating. So I want you and your wife to sit down and, for maybe the first time in a while, not think of the things that you're lacking, that you're missing, that you're not able to come through on. But instead, I want you to say, all right, let's take all the blinders off. Let's say Dad didn't have a business. Let's say the country was open to us. Let's say we are just going to call it. We know that we're never going to have kids, just you and me. Now what? What kind of crazy adventure could we build? And I want y'all to lean into that. And you may not fully get there because it's going to start with tiny houses and campers and whatever people from Idaho do. But it may be, we don't have to live here. I've always wanted to live by your parents. Or I could run a construction company in Kansas, and for the same price we could buy a home in Meridian, I could buy half of a block in Kansas, right? Whatever that looks like. And you begin to loosen these chains that have wrapped themselves around you as you felt yourself losing out on one thing after another, after another, after another. And 43 feels like you're 100. You're not. You're not even halfway there, brother. You're not. Man. You deserve somebody who will ride or die with you, and then you deserve to dream big and go get it. More practically speaking, you need to have a hard conversation with your dad sooner rather than later. And ask him to be vulnerable with you. You need to sit down with your wife and plan on, okay, we've got to at some point say, if this isn't in the cards for us, what's this going to look like, right? If we can't afford a house in this community and we want to buy a house, then at some point the house has to be more important than the community. You got to go look somewhere else. That's the math of it, right? Or we're just going to rent until we're 70 because we're so enamored by this neighborhood. I'd recommend moving. I'd recommend trying to find something different and go have an adventure. If it tanks, you can come back in 2 years. Maybe the housing market will correct itself in 2 years, whatever that looks like. But get all the stuff out of your head, all of the derivatives, drama, all the tangles, and then start clicking through one at a time. Is this true? Is this true? Is this true? And then what of this can I control? And I got to let the rest of it go. And usually what I can control starts with conversations, hard ones with people I love. Thank you so much for that call, Brandon. You're a stud, dude. Now it's time to go do the hard stuff. Thanks for calling, brother.